countdown for liftoff. Oh, that's what I need, a rocket sound, 10, 9, 8. Some people have that.
Speaking of which,
Speaking of which,
I just watched First Moon and a deal they just put out about Apollo 13.
oh, really? Something new?
Well, it's new to me. It's not new. It's all film from the day.
Well, yeah, of course, but they're probably showing stuff like that now because, we're getting ready to go out there and do it again.
They anyway, it's been fascinating. They interviewed the guys that did Apollo 8.
Yeah,
Which Lovell was part of that crew as well.
he was. He was. I don't know if he was commander on that flight. He might have been.
I think I don't know.
And
he was a captain then. I know that, but I don't know.
Hey, Chuck, good morning. Jason, if you're still here, good morning. Mary Ellen, good morning and welcome. And Mary Ellen is some of our fellow creators, of which Mary Ellen is, because she has a really good show. I'll put her link in later. Every once in a while, she stoops down real low and invites me on there with her. Morning, Chuck. I hope you're well, sir. I hope you're having decent weather, although maybe I'm suspecting you're not. Seems like I heard you guys were expecting.
It looked like it was going to get ugly up there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It was the only part of the country like that, northeast country, that.
Jason said hello to you.
Good morning, sir.
How is Louisiana today? Good morning, Tina.
I bet it's going to be hotter than the hinges of Hades.
Could be. It's getting hot in places already.
Well, Ryan Hall, y'all, said yesterday that it was 106 in Phoenix already. That's not, none of that's normal.
But it's a dry heat.
We're in the 70s, so that's not normal either.
But it's a dry heat.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a dry heat. It's a dry cold.
Good morning, Miss Tina.
Hey, John. Welcome in, buddy.
Hey.
John's brother has been back and forth. He's been up there visiting and taking care of business, I guess. And he's back. I asked John if he was here. I asked John about him being here the other day because we were having some rough weather, but he was gone. Hopefully he didn't come home to find anything blown over or torn up.
You ought to get him to come on, drive over to your house and
sit here with me.
Sit here with you, and then we can ask him things.
We can ask him things about John and his childhood or something. Try to find embarrassing questions.
So Chuck said they're 27 inches above normal for snowfall.
Mark could use some of that, Chuck. If you guys could
use all that, Chuck, if you could send it all here, because we're doing the Dust Bowl thing.
Yeah, they're already droughty out there.
No kidding, Dust Bowl thing.
Well, Tina, the idea is that since it doesn't have all that humidity, it doesn't feel the same, and your sweat evaporates better, making you feel a little bit cooler. But there comes a point where there's just no return. It's somewhere up in the hundreds, 90s.
Well, I guarantee you 106 is miserable in Phoenix.
Well, you've been there when it was that hot, haven't you?
I've been there when it was 120 plus. And that's stupid hot.
Yeah. There is a difference, though. When it's 100 out there, the sun is hot and it roasts you. if you're 100 back here, it's miserable and it steams you.
Right.
Like being in a pressure cooker. It's different. It's a different kind of heat.
You're in the aluminum foil as a baked potato.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good example.
It's yeah, I mean, you know, I was at Yuma, Arizona one time sleeping on a cot with no blanket. And I woke up in the morning, I was freezing, and I probably told this tale before. I tend to do that, but it was above 70, and I've never been so cold in my life. Because during the day, it was getting up in the low 120s, and
That's just too hot.
which is just like stupid hot. Yeah, it's
I don't know what it is here right now. It was cool when I walked in, but I put on a jacket because I wasn't sure and I didn't need it when I came out. Yesterday it was probably up in the low 70s or upper 60s. We're gonna have to mow our damn yard, pardon my French. It's already grown so much. Brenda said yesterday we probably ought to go ahead and get the lawnmower out. And I'm telling you something, it's too early to start that foolishness.
I always tell my wife apparently enjoys yard work, and she likes to do that kind of stuff outside. And I told her because she didn't have to when she was growing up. That's one reason. And the our grass is green in the yard. I wish it was green everywhere else, but
Tina, I think
it won't be long. She'll be out there chopping its little heads off.
Yeah, well, I started mowing yards when I was 9 years old. My dad was sick, and he couldn't mow for a while. He had a heart issue, and they told him not to do anything strenuous, and so I had to start mowing the yard at 9, and I grew up to just despise mowing the yard. And of course that led to me picking up people's yards to mow for a few bucks here and there, because that was the only way I had to make money. But I have no desire to mow the yard, even on a riding lawnmower. It just does nothing for me. Jason said weather is getting warmer.
The nutria rat seen his shadow.
When is Nutria Day down there, Jason? You know?
So, Jason, do they taste good or no?
Yeah, you tell us, Jason.
I hear they're good, and then I hear other people say,
Well, they thought they'd be good and people would eat them. Isn't that why they brought them in here?
No, they brought them as another fur bearer.
Oh, okay. Well, that didn't work out either.
Back when muskrats were good.
And the fur market went to hell, and that.
But that happened a long time ago. It was early 1900s.
I don't know. When did they bring those things in?
Early 1900s. 20s or 30s, I think, was when they did the big introduction.
Well, they were doing introductions all over the country back then. Good morning, Mary Ellen. You're back, and you were number one, and all your bear cubs. I don't know about that. Mary Ellen was first one in this morning, and mentioned that she should get the gold prize, but I got to check on that. Tina thought that was funny about the nutria rat. And they lie just like the groundhogs do, maybe worse. Rhonda, good morning. And welcome in. I got some pictures, Mark, at the end of the show that I don't think you've seen that have to do with Kelly's destruction and the dog injury. I think you'll be impressed with that. A little bit. Not much, but a little bit.
I was impressed with the tree, but wasn't happy about it.
No, I'm not happy about it. But I'll download the pictures on here so I can actually show them. And tastes like chicken, Jason said.
Yeah, just like every other animal on the planet.
Yeah. Frog legs, muskrat,
Roadrunner,
rabbit.
You either taste like a chicken leg or a pork chop.
I like pork chop.
Looney Tunes taught me that.
When I was a kid, my uncle used to tease me about. He said, "You know what, boy? He said, you were so ugly when you was a kid. I can remember when your mama used to hang a pork chop around your neck so the dog could play with you." And then he'd say, "Look, you still got a greasy spot right there." Jesse, yes, Jesse did, and it did end last night. And I was going to say that I wrote that down a minute ago. Richie Beatty or Beatty, I don't know how he pronounces it, won the Red Lantern Award, which is the last musher in. So it's done and dusted, as the Brits like to say. There was a bad storm the last time teams had to hunker down. Yeah, I read that, Rhonda, that a bunch of them had to hunker down at White Mountain. I think that's the last checkpoint, and a couple of them didn't get past that. The rest of them did. Most of them finished. There were 7. This we're talking about Iditarod. There were 7 scratches. 2 of those were the expedition team, so there was only 5 real mushers that scratched, and most of them were out at near the very end. So that storm and I think one team stopped because of dog issues. They were starting to get some problems with their dogs. But I got a couple of quick things about it here in a minute that I'm going to play when I get started.
Oh, you can't. Oh, maybe I've got the rest of it.
What was that?
Well, Jason left a deal about zoos in Louisiana. There's 3 things you can't do.
Okay, Jason, what are those 3?
You got to tell us now, dude.
You can't just throw that out there and
don't hang your children over the edge above the gators or.
Yeah, what Mark said. You can't do that.
Don't
Let me see if I can give you a drum roll.
Don't feed the newt. Don't go newt. That ain't it.
He wasn't ready. Oh, he retracted his message. You can't do that either because we saw it. We're still sitting here waiting.
I got it up right here.
So let me back up to my. So Rhonda, did you pick up that $15 pass and finish out to see the rest of the race or what was going on? I was trying to figure out what was that music that's something new. I've got these things called media assets now. And these media assets are sound effects and musical, like this, for example. I can give myself applause, or we can have a drum roll. But I got to get the timing right.
You're close.
Yeah. Oh no, he has said. Oh yes, that's brand new, Rhonda.
Oh no, yes, sound effects.
Hey, I don't.
That's what I told him first thing this morning. Whatever that is you're playing, turn it off.
I was playing. They've got background music, and I was just seeing what they were. And Mark came in, and he said, "No, what? Oh no!" He said that will never do. Well, let's see. What was it we also found, Mark, on the song? You know, what do you think of that? Oh, I know what it was. There was a.
I hear one of those, even on like a like Chinese martial arts film
Yeah,
or something. I think of Chuck Berry from the Gong Show.
they got canned laughter.
Clyde Cade's name, classification, and recipe.
Again, posted on a cage name class.
Hey.
That's good, Jason. I like that. No, don't start calling me that, Tina. I'm not going to be that annoying. Trust me. They were brand new to me this morning, so I had to at least try them. But don't you start calling me chef. Oh my word. That's somebody you never met, Mark, but he used to have this. Somebody gave him this sound machine or something, and he can make the most annoying noises during the show. And it used to drive me nuts. It was funny and it wasn't. I mean, yeah, Shep is a whole nother level. Oh, but those were brand new today, and I was just messing with them to try them out and see what they were. I didn't know. Well, maybe they've been there for a while, but I didn't know it. They've added a bunch of stuff on the StreamYard, which is a good thing because they raised the price here a while back. So it's kind of nice that they've added something to it. But I don't know how to use them all beyond what you just heard. There was one more though that I liked. Oh, I know what it was. Mark said I need to keep this in case I ever decided to start talking about car seats or anything like that. Which I don't intend to do. So it was funny if he did it once or twice.
I think I got something scheduled for that day.
I'm not going to do it. It was funny if he did it once or twice. Along about the 15th time, it got really annoying. That's kind of how I felt about it, Tina. But some of the stuff was good. I don't know. I think Dad Bills did that. Chris, I'm not made that for him or gave it to him. I'm not sure about that, but it seems like that was the story. It's been a while. I hadn't been on there in a long time. Do they still do the this and that show in the middle of the week? Because I haven't been online at night. Once I go to the house, I don't usually get on a computer or a phone. I'm leaving my computer up here, so Shep doesn't know when to stop. He's socially unaware. That's a nice way to say it. Carry on. Oh, he had it before Chris joined the community. Okay. So that was untrue then, what I thought.
Do you guys have one of these going like every day?
What, a show?
Yeah.
Oh, there's hundreds of things like that. I mean, they're all different. There's a lot. Most of the people that I know in here are from Disney community, and there's all kinds of live streaming Disney people at the parks and whatnot. And I don't do Disney. We might mention it once in a while, but I don't do Disney because I can't. I'm not down there at the parks, and there's a lot of people that live down there that do it all the time. So I really wouldn't be any good at it. I mean, I couldn't. I could sit here and talk about it from a distance, and it'd be about like talking car seats, I'd imagine.
Or vernal equinoxes.
That's gonna be short. Go get you a cup of coffee.
I got coffee. I'm drinking it.
They still do this and that, but all three of them are rarely there at the same time. Okay. I need to go back. I used to go on there and chat with those guys, but it's been a while. Like I said, I'm just not on my computer at night. If I have something going on special, then I stay up here longer. And then Brenda says, "Where you been? You didn't come down." I said, "Well, you could have got online. You would have seen me there." But anyway, And Teddy starts looking for me about 9 o'clock. Oh no! Oh, he said, Gina, I'm hoping to learn a lot about these vernal equinoxes. Well, I guess I better kick this show off then, because I got I got some talking to do.
Vernal Equinox and to talk about.
Vernal equinoxes to go about here. Equinoxing.
You know that the vernal equinox was actually yesterday, not
It's
today.
what? It's wait a minute. It's actually what?
It was yesterday, not today.
No. It started yesterday and ended today.
Oh,
It's
so
actually
middle of the night was actually the vernal equinox.
right. That is correct. Oh, I got to do something else, don't I? I got to do this part. Yes, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a diagram, buddy. You just wait. Just hold your horse.
I had to get online to figure out what the heck the vernal equinox was before the show.
Well, we can just say it's the beginning of spring. That's a calendar thing.
That's what I would call it.
Astrologically, it's the vernal equinox. Yeah, Tina, I miss Teddy being up here too. I'd like to get him up here. He does. He waits on me down at the door when Brenda says when it's the normal time I walk back down to the house and go in. He gets in the hall and sits and waits for me. But if he misses me that much, he ought to get his butt up here.
I still think you need to make him an O course that goes from the house to the garage.
I would like to do
the library.
I would like to do that.
And then he could you could put it up in the air so you could drive under it, and he would think it was a grand adventure.
Yeah.
You'll have to put him twists and turns and
like a slide at the end.
The occasional mouse or something in there, and he'll be happy.
Well, that wouldn't be hard to do right now because I'm catching mice. I told you about Brenda's trap, didn't I? Or did I? You might know.
Yeah. We talked about the bucket.
Well, the bucket's still working. They ain't figured it out yet.
Well, you better keep it running, buddy. Or
well,
they'll eat all your cheese.
I could about made a mouse fur coat by now, I think. So anyway, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, consider it, and leave a comment. And I don't care if it's positive or, well, I'd rather it's positive, but it can be either one. And here is
I looked at these charts today.
I told you I had charts and pictures, and this explains it all. An equinox occurs twice a year in March and September when the sun is directly above the Earth's equator, resulting in nearly equal lengths of day and night. These two periods, known as the vernal spring and the autumnal fall equinoxes, usually occur on March 20th, 21st, and September 22nd, 23rd. They start about noon and go to the noon. I mean, technically, that's when it all happens. And that's what these pictures show here. The equinox is the moment when neither the Earth's hemisphere is inclined. I am inclined to. Where'd my other map go? Not map.
So if we call fall autumn, some people do.
Right.
Why don't we call spring burn?
Well, now that's a real good question. I don't know. If anybody has the answer to that question, by all means, let us have it.
That's going to be my contribution to this. I'm going to go get more coffee.
Okay, you go get more coffee. So you can look at these charts. This is a really cool website, and if I can pull up my rest of my notes, which I seem to have lost. There they are. No, that's not them. Where'd they go? I hate when I do this. Now I got it back. So now I can operate a little bit better here, a little more efficiently. So let me get back to where I was at. Now, here we go. Here is the link. I'm going to post this link, but yeah, there I am. If you're interested in this, and I don't think Carol's not in here. I wanted Carol to see this. She might. You never know. She might could use it in a class someday. They've got a lot of charts, and they explain a lot of this stuff really well, and different things that are happening. I mean, they get into way more detail than I'm going to try to get in today, so don't worry about that part. But this explains it in a nutshell. And but what I was also thinking was, this is March, and then March we have had a whole bunch of celebrations. We've got St. Patrick's Day. Before that, we had Pi Day. And now we got what?
Pi Day is like
the 14th. 314 is Pi Day.
314.
We've got the spring or the vernal equinox, and there's some other things that I've decided not to list. There's some really, really important birthdays this month too. Some of the finest people I know were born in March.
I know one. My mother.
What day is her birthday?
Well, it's a funny story.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a funny story.
Go ahead. If it's not,
she was born at home.
Yeah.
As people in that era were wont to do.
Right.
And the doc came over, and he was 3 seats to the wind, and birthed her and wrote down her birthday, which it was the only birthday of the year that I actually remembered because of something silly. She was born on the 15th of March, the Ides of March.
The Ides of March.
Beware the Ides of March. I always knew to be careful around my mama. And that's the only birthday I remembered for including my own. And then they figured out that she was actually born on the 14th.
Oh, no.
So I decided years ago that I was going to keep it the 15th. That way I don't forget.
I don't blame you. What day does she claim it as?
Well, this year they did her birthday deal like 3 days early, and I'm like, so you just can pick whatever day you want. Once you're in your 80s, you can decide. You can you could have a birthday every day of the year.
Good point. Good point. Mark's mother I love Mark's mother to death. She's just a little bitty. She's like my mom in many ways, and maybe even smaller, but she's just a little bitty gal. And my mom was a little bitty short. My mom was about 5'2", I think.
Yeah, mom's 4'11".
Well, there you go. My mom's bigger than your mom.
She's slipped below that now, and which really makes her aggravated.
Well, mom did too, but but I have this feeling because of who. Now, I never saw your mom upset or mad at anybody, I don't think. But I'd be willing to bet she'd be.
I've seen her upset at me.
I was going to say that, but I knew you would have thought that.
But it wasn't very often, and it wasn't.
Well, my point was, I would think she's probably a how you say that? She's to be reckoned with, a force to be reckoned with.
She could be that.
I know my mom was. My mom was hell on wheels if she had a switch in her hand. Now, as I got older, it's funny. As I got older,
or a paint throwing stick, or one of them paddles you got from the fair with the ball and the rubber band.
My mom liked limber switches for some reason.
Yeah, because they wrap around you. That's what my great grandmother used. Granny, she used to, and she always made me go get my own.
Yeah, if you brought your own one back, I usually got a couple extra licks because I'd have to go get another one. Funny thing about
they might be tiny, but they're mighty. That's correct.
That's right.
Although she be small, she is mighty.
Yeah. As my mom and I both aged, she seemed to have forgotten about all that.
Oh yeah, they've got a great like.
I didn't do that. I never spanked you. She'd say.
My dad. I snuck off one day and was gone, and I was too young to be doing that, I guess. And Dad finally found me. They'd been looking for me for a while, and he finally found me, and he whooped me all the way home through my great grandmother's yard, and she would not speak to my father for a month.
I remember you telling that.
For a month. She would not speak to him, and she used to beat me way worse than he did.
Funny how that worked, huh? Yeah, I talked to my mom when my mom would start, she'd keep my kids, and I'd say something about, if she's acting up, I said, do her like you did me and pop her on the behind. And my mom said, I never did that to you. My grandma's changed. They're not the same as mamas.
They're not.
They can be the same people, but they are not the same. Oh, me.
And so anyway, I found myself as grandpa saying stuff like, boy, I'll jerk a knot in your tail.
I'm muted. Anyway, yeah, they changed. There's no two ways around that. So that's all about the vernal equinox. And if you are at all interested, and I'm sure some of you might be, even if you don't admit it, that website's got a lot of really good information on it. All about orbits and Earth stuff. So let's finish up a little bit on the Iditarod real quick. This won't be terribly long, but as Rhonda mentioned a few minutes ago, Jesse Holmes ended up winning it for the second year in a row, which not many people have done, even though there are several multi-year winners. Not many people have won it 2 in a row. He finished in 9 days, 7 hours, 32 minutes, and 51 seconds. That's not a bad lick for 1,000 miles in the Arctic. He finished with 12 of his 16. He finished with 12 of his 16 dogs, and in one interview I saw, they asked him why he didn't cut his team back, because a lot of them do at the very end. And he said, no, they got me this far. I wanted to bring them all the way to the end. So he brought his most of his team in. For winning that race, the 54th Iditarod came with the largest. He gets the largest percentage. They didn't say what that percentage was, of the $650,000 purse. So I don't know what his cut was, but I'm sure that's a healthy hunk of change for anybody. I was expecting more, but I guess there really isn't. It really isn't there. I don't know. Tina, you got extra word there or something. What's that about? Oh, you were expecting more about the equinox? I was afraid to tell him more. I was afraid I might have a riot in the room.
Well, wait, that's it?
Some of the things he won he won every award that they gave out except for the one that he gave out for the guy that comes in last. Alaska Air Transit Spirit of Iditarod Award, the GCI Dorothy G. Page Halfway Award. He won the first Yukon Award, Bristol Bay Native Cooperation Fish First Award, Ryan Air Gold Coast Award, and the Northern Bank Achieve More Award. Is winning from those awards total $5,500 in cash. And I thought this was cool, and you'd only do this probably in Alaska. $4,500 in gold nuggets, which is only a couple of ounces, but that's still not bad. I think gold's at least a couple $1,000s an ounce right now, I think. And this picture at the bottom of the page is Jesse sitting on the winner's box.
We don't see it.
No, you can't see it. Oh, wait a minute! I forgot to. Damn it! Hang on. Sorry, guys. I did it again. I forgot to present.
Well, Tina, they eat them.
We have a question. What happens to the dogs? Come on now. Don't run everybody off.
Dog makes a fine meal.
According to some. Jesse, that's Jesse with his two. He had two lead dogs, and I might be wrong about this, but I think in this case, Polar, the white dog, was his old lead dog, and Zeus, the newer, younger dog, is his new lead dog, and they swapped out some. And if I'm not mistaken, on the dog sled team, the dog, it's either, I don't know if it's the left or the right side of the harness, it's right back in front of the sled. I believe they call that the wheel dog. Maybe in Louisiana. There used to be a joke about Cajuns would eat anything, so maybe that's true. But now, Jason, I don't mean that in a bad way.
They're my buddies down there are the only people I know that go out and hunt coots on purpose because they like the taste of them.
The what on purpose?
Coots.
Oh, coots. I've eaten a coot, I have to admit, although I'm not saying that I would recommend them, but they got a gizzard in them. It's about this big.
Yeah, I've eaten them too, but it's not
something I would go after.
I was tricked into it.
Yeah, that's kind of how it happened for me.
And a merganser.
Oh, mergansers are awful, I've heard.
Well, Steve Vernal says they're all right if you don't know to cook them. So anyway,
that's Jesse and his two dogs, and now I've got a short video clip. So, oh man, I miss Ian. When I think about video clips, I miss Ian.
Welcome to Wix Harmony. Take the speed of AI and pixel level control.
I didn't mean for the commercial to be in there.
To go from words into a full website that's entirely.
Well, I thought it was going to let me skip it.
Page, section.
No, you're going to get to watch all the junk.
Your personal AI agent.
They put commercials on commercials now.
Flow natural.
Hang on, I didn't know it was going to put the commercial in with it.
We can't hear it anyway, so it don't matter.
Oh, you can't hear any of it?
No, it's just it sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher.
And now is our time.
Come on.
Unbeatable experiences for bold innovation, for historic moments. It's time to do what balls do best. More life-changing research, more problem solving, more lighting the way. We have what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
Good evening. We are coming on tonight with breaking news just moments ago. Jesse Holmes passed under the Burrell Arch Gnome to win his second Iditarod.
Well, it has been an amazing run, feeling very similar to last year's race. Let's take a look at what it looked like when he crossed that finish line. All right, there's a look at him crossing the finish line, the excitement in the streets as Jesse Holmes, look at him go, arms in the air, fist pumping, the doggies, very excited. He won the Iditarod in 9 days, 7 hours, 32 minutes, and 51 seconds.
And you can see those dogs, those lead dogs right now, getting some praise out there. Our sports director, Jordan Rodenberger, is there.
So you guys can't hear any of that, is that correct? because I thought you would be able to, because this is a trick I've been doing, and I thought it was working, but I guess it's not today. Let me see if I got a button that I can mash. Probably not. Oh, yes, you can. Okay, good.
Welcome to the next generation.
Oh, no.
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if you're not ready to launch your business. With
Come
Wix, you can
on.
grab yours now and then get to work. Here's why it matters. Back in 2019,
It says I can skip them, but it won't let me skip them. I should have known better.
I wasn't ready. That was a huge mistake. Someone else grabbed it, built the exact same business I put in, and now they're making all the money that I could have been making. And that's why I'm sharing this. Locking down your domain name is crucial. And on Wix, it's super fast. They handle all the tricky tech stuff for you, making it seamless. And honestly, having a domain name gives your idea instant credibility. A domain name isn't just a name. It's a way to...
Whoa. Too far ahead. All right, I'm not going to make you watch the rest of that. I can't cut the commercials out. I didn't know they were in there. So the rest of this conversation is going to be about one of our favorite rodents from last week, but not really about the rodent. But I am going to show a thing about him, hopefully. But the porcupine we talked about, I showed you some videos last week. This is his coverage area, and this shows him being right down here in my neck of the woods now. So I guess I could go out here someday and see one up in a tree, but I've not seen one yet.
Well, they're creeping. I mean, they were always over that country anyway.
Oh yeah, I never saw one.
But they're starting to creep southward.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is funny because it's a critter that has one young a year, which is odd for a rodent.
Which is odd for a rodent, yeah.
And I mean they're pretty well protected against some things, but other things are pretty good at catching them and eat. They're pretty much defenseless,
other than their quills,
if you understand how they're built.
Yeah.
Which mountain lions and fishers know.
Yeah.
Dogs have never figured them out, but
no, they sure haven't. But you can see
Is Carol on?
I haven't seen Carol. She must not be here today.
I wondered if she had regular encounters.
Well, where they live, it may be more
are they in town
populated, so they may not. But
yeah,
I'm sure I know if you get up towards the UP, people do all the time.
Well, I mean, they do clear down where, like at Wiedemann, where Doc Pohl.
Well, he was always
way down in the eastern part of the Lower Peninsula.
He was always pulling barbs out of
quills out of pit bulls. That's what his programs were.
So anyway, this is just what they look like. I showed pictures last week, but I wanted to point out a couple things. Now, if this works, I have a nice little video. Again, this is a good one because it explains some of these things about the porcupine in better detail than I could and quicker, because it's a biologist talking about them and telling other people about them. So let's see if this works.
The beaver is the only rodent in North America that's larger than our North American porcupine, and there are about 40 species of porcupines in the world today. Can you imagine? Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? All this little.
I didn't know there were that many.
Nice soft hairs, but up here you can see on her base, all of those are all quills on the side. There are only two places on North American porcupine's body where there are no quills. Its nose, and then
I gotta get new speakers.
So the underbelly with no quills makes it a very vulnerable place for a porcupine. If it gets tipped over, some bad things can happen. And then very chunky body, and a small face, short legs, and a short, thick tail. I've had porcupines that had short, squat tails, and the porcupine I have with me today has much longer.
Mark, tell me something about porkies. Once a quill has been pulled, is there still like a part of a hollow shaft there, or does the whole thing come out of the skin? Do you
No,
know?
it's just a hair. It's just a hair.
Well, I know it's just a modified hair, but I didn't know if it came apart or if it came out.
No, it doesn't come apart. It's a single hair,
Okay.
some of which are 1/8 of an inch in diameter on a North American porcupine.
Yeah,
In Africa, they're much bigger.
they're even bigger. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've got quills I brought home from Africa that are this long.
Tail.
They're darn near a foot long.
I'm sorry. Go. Okay. The yeah, and I didn't put any of those in here, but yeah, some of those are impressive. The and she said that some porkies get up to 40 pounds. I didn't realize they got that big.
Yeah, the ones we had in eastern Wyoming out on the prairie and the plains, which is funny because you think of them as just a tree dwelling critter, and they're not. They live all the way out across the Great Plains, in places that it's 100 miles to the nearest tree. And those porcupines are the biggest ones I've ever seen. They're just like 50-gallon drums. They look like, you'll come. I usually encountered them when I was bird hunting out there with my bird dog, and then you get to pull quills.
What are they eating out there on the Great Plains?
Grasses.
Just grass. Okay.
Yeah.
Because in the woods, they're chewing the bark and getting to the
Yeah, they're just eating grasses. I've got one in the yard right now. He's not out there right now, but he's here. He's here every night, and he goes to the bird feeders and eats the sunflower seeds.
Well, you think he's under your meat shed or something, isn't he?
Yeah, and then he goes and hides under the meat shed, and we're up in the tree. He's been working this poor old willow over pretty hard this winter. My wife's about over him, and I never thought I'd ever hear her talk about any creature like she talks about that porcupine.
Well, let me finish this.
And I always catch them and just take them down the river and dump them out in the willows. And I think she's getting to the point where she wants quill work done with this one.
Okay. Porcupine's days may be numbered.
Range from about 4 pounds to nearly 40 pounds, and the average is about 20 pounds. So my porcupine today, I call her the new one. Her name is the new one. The new one weighs, I would say, about 15 pounds. The upper parts of their body are covered with thousands. They say up to 30,000 sharp, barbed, hollow spines or quills or modified hairs, which are used always as defense. There's no other reason for it. They don't throw their quills. That's one of the great old myths about porcupines, but the quills become detached very easily. So especially if they're shaking their tail, maybe a quill will come up, but it's not throwing quills at you at all. They're a rodent. That's why they're always long. Rodents.
Pause it just a second.
Constantly growing.
No, too late.
Well, I can back it up. What do you need? I think.
Oh, so right there on his forehead, he's got that yellowish colored. Those are guard hairs. That's what the Native Americans made their roaches out of. Those are the roaches that they wore during dances and things, or during warfare. That's the guard hair. Those are not quills. They got kind of 3 layers of. They've got those big long guard hairs, some of which are probably 10 or 11 inches long. And they've got quills underneath those guard hairs. And then they have a layer of fur, pretty fine hair mixed in underneath, in and amongst the quills.
If you skin one out, can you do anything? Can you get that fur? Is that fur usable? Or, I mean, are you just...
I've never seen anybody use it for anything, but it's, I assume it would be. You can, you pull all the quills out of the hide, but like the Native women on the Wind River Indian reservations, for instance, they don't believe in, the ones I know don't believe in killing them. They just take like an old wool blanket and throw it down over a live porcupine because they can't run. So
Right.
you can catch up with them easy. And you just throw your blanket over top of that porcupine and the quills come off in the blanket. And then you just walk away and leave a naked porcupine. They're not, you'll never get even close to a small percentage of them out of them. But
I just realized you guys are seeing my whole screen. Usually you don't see that part. Oh, well. I'll fix that in a minute. Let's finish. Let's run the rest of this.
But their molars don't look much different than yours. They fall out of trees regularly.
Fall
Great
out.
climbers, clumsy as all get out. And of course, what they want to do is they want to go to the ends of the trees and nip along the tender buds. And those aren't going to hold an animal that weighs 20 pounds driven. And this is where they get into a lot of trouble. They'll go to the edges of road to eat salt, and they can get hit by cars there. They love eating plywood.
That's the business end right there. Ugh.
Do what?
That's the business end.
Yeah.
So what they tend to do is stuff their head underneath something, like up under some roots or something, and then flare all those quills out. And then the dog comes along like, hey, that looks like I should take a bite out of that.
Yeah. Tina said Danny's never gotten into one. I'm almost surprised, Tina. Do you guys ever see them out just locally and on the road or side of the road, or somebody? You ever have a flat tire because of them? Because they can do that too. At least I understand. I've never run over one.
Being a wild animal as a pet, by the way, it is illegal to do that. But she was very, very special in that she.
Look at her hold, touch that thing.
What made Pacer so important was
if that thing flipped its tail right then,
the charmer in the public.
She'd have a whole forearm full of quills.
That's what I was thinking.
But I mean, if you're going with the fur or with the hair, you could pet them. Caitlin had one walk. My daughter had one walk right up under her shoe last year. Just come walking across the yard, and she got in front of it and was taking pictures, and it just walked right over and sniffed her foot and then crawled up under her shoe.
Well, now watch me not be able to get rid of this thing after I put it up here so quickly and easily. All right, bear with me while I cuss for a minute.
Look at that beauty. What a cool bird. That's a sketch.
It's worse than an Etch-a-Sketch. It won't.
I said you need an Etch-a-Sketch. You could just go like this and it just go away.
I wish the heck I did. I can't close the damn. Or pardon me, I can't shut it down.
Right click.
Well, that's what I'm working on.
Control Alt Delete.
Oh, I'm about to do that too. Now I gotta find it.
Tina just said we're seeing your whole viewing history.
You probably are.
North American Porcupine.
I don't know how to get rid of it. I've shut it down. You guys shouldn't be seeing anything.
We don't see it on the screen. Just
You
you and I.
me, right?
Yeah, just you and I. That's all we see. Or that's all I see.
I wish I could say that about everybody else in the known world.
Tina says it's gone.
Yeah, that part is, but I can't get
Then
rid
I
of
keep
it.
hearing it play.
Well, today.
I can't get rid of it. I can stop it. I can start it. I can't find
You've
an
been
outlet.
googly eyed.
Yeah. Who just like that? All these little whites here, those
You guys can't hear it. It's just playing over and over again here in the background.
Well, we hear it.
Oh, you do? Okay.
are just nice soft hairs, but up here you can see on her face, all of those are all on the side. There are only two places.
I'm afraid I'm going to shut down everybody, and you guys will be gone, and I won't have anybody in here. So I can't find the.
Can you hit escape?
Well, I tried. I thought that would do it, and it's not. All right, guys, hang on. Bear with me. It's probably right there, and I can't shut it down.
Tina says to pause it, and then you can hit Control Alt Delete later.
Well,
North American
Tina, I'm trying to do that.
You need that screen, I assume.
Pause, it's all I can do, and I can't get it off the screen to show. Let me try this and see if you guys can see anything besides that. That's the thing. Right now, I don't think I can get it to show you guys anything other than her or them.
Belly with no quills makes it a very vulnerable place for a porcupine. If it gets tipped over, some bad things can happen. And they have a big chunky body, very chunky body, and a small face.
Well, I may have to shut down just to get it off the screen. What in the hell am I doing?
And Tina says this is why she won't do her own channel.
Well, okay.
Well, how do they do? I mean, people have these that don't seem like they have any flaws in them at all.
Well, I don't know. I've never, I'm going to be honest, I've never had anything do this. What it seems to have done is it has been enlarged to fill the full screen, but it's so big that it has gone out into the past the edges of the screen, and I can't move it to get to the stop button or the
This
pause
is playback for the sound effects that you were allowed to have, according to.
So.
And the average is about 20 pounds. So
I'd just like
beaver is the only rodent
shut her down and redo.
Well, now I've got something else showing here. Let me see if you guys can see this. It's not what I want you to see because you can see my notes and that, but whatever, it works. So I'll just have to do it.
Well, we don't have any. We can't see anything. There. Something happened. Oh, you got quills out.
I got quills out. So that's what we were going to, that's where I was headed with this whole thing.
So I can't even remember if we talked about quills one time, other time.
Well, we mentioned them when we talked about beads, but we really didn't get into a lot of detail.
Well, I just wonder if I told about when my border collie female got into a little one that had little teeny, like half-inch long fine quills on it, and she had them all in her mouth. And Sam and I, it was on Christmas Eve, Sam and I were pulling quills, and I got one in my knee, on the side of my knee, and Sam got one somehow in his face. He was kind of holding her against his chest, and somehow one of those little quills got into his chin.
Oh.
And they had to take it out of his sinus.
So it worked its way all the way up into there.
Yeah, and he had a big old Well, he's got a big old scar now. He had to shave his beard off, and they had to go in there, poke about, and find that thing. And it had worked its way. It didn't get all the way into the sinus. But it was heading there, which is where they go. For some reason, that tend to do that on mountain lions too.
I wonder why that is. There's
To the point where it's fatal. I mean,
it must have something to do with how we move our faces and work our mouths and things.
Yeah,
works
and
it up through there.
just and those. I mean, I've watched them like on a dog. You can see the quill, and if you watch it, it'll slip clear. It'll like work its way clear under the skin before you know what you're doing, and it's like, yeah, I lost that one.
Is it just the tip end that tends to do that, or do they do it even?
It's the whole quill. That white and black thing, that's a natural quill out of the animal.
Well, I know that, but I didn't know if the tip broke off.
And that entire thing will go in you, work its way into you. It doesn't start out that way. Just the black part starts out, but that black part's covered in these little fine barbs that
I'm going to show you in a minute. I got a microscopic view here.
Kind of hard to pull them out. They like you can pull on it and it'll lift your skin up, kind of a deal.
This is what they look like when they come out of the porky, basically. And then I put this one picture down here of red ones, just to show that they're dyed, and I don't know if those are dyed traditionally or not, but those are dyed. And I've got this. This is an example of quill work that Brenda found last night. I didn't get a chance to take a picture, and she was trying to remember if you made this, but I don't know if you did or if I traded for this or something. Do you remember making this?
No, I didn't build that. But I can tell you that that's Lakota or Sioux quill work, because they're the people that like to do they use that stitching pattern for their quill work, whereas most other tribes use a zigzag kind of pattern when you fold the quills back and forth.
Hey, John, welcome, Richard. Good to see you.
I'm getting into the weeds.
No, but that's okay, because then we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I got another link here in a minute. That's what the barb looks like in a microscopic view on the left. And those little barbs just continue to work their way in. That's why they're so hard to get out.
It's like they've got shoulders and they're crawling.
Yeah.
Literally. But it's quicker than one would think. They literally will. You'll be trying to grab a hold of the back end of the quill with pliers to pull it out of a dog or something, and they'll just slip under the skin. It's like, darn it, and then you got a bigger deal to deal with. But
well, and watching Dr. Pole over the years, I saw him do this a lot, and that was always his big concern, was trying to get every little quill out. Otherwise, they would do that. They would start migrating.
And it's those little ones. The big ones are easy. The little ones are the ones that like hide on you. So
like the ones in that dog's nose.
Yeah, and I'll guarantee you inside that dog's mouth, it's got them in the roof of its mouth and its tongue and its lips. And
dogs can be so
mine always do every time. And so somebody has to hold the jaws open and somebody has to pull the quills. It's generally a two-person job.
Yeah. What's so amazing? Dogs can be taught so many things. They can be trained to do so much, and yet they will not leave a porcupine alone.
They just every encounter makes them hate them worse. And then the next time it's more quills, and the next time it's more. I've seen dogs that you can't even see their face.
Yeah, I saw pictures of them. I just didn't put one like that in here. Hey, Michelle, welcome in. Long time no see. Good to have you drop by. Yeah, I had pictures. There are pictures online that show what you're describing, just covered. It's like they stuck their whole face down in it and just blah, 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 blah. And
Yeah,
then
pit bulls are particularly bad about that. They're aggressive anyway and want to fight whatever's hurting them. And I look at the back of that guy's hand right there. I've been there and done that. And
well, that makes my hand hurt. Just
I didn't get a T-shirt or anything cool out of the deal.
No, you would not. So this is what the Native American tribes different. This is what they used before glass beads came to North America. They quit. Well, they probably used other things too, but natural things. But this is once beads came, a lot of the Native Americans got away from quill work and went to bead work because they can do these same patterns easier. And so they moved out. Now these particular pieces are done by this lady called Nancy Funicello, who is the founder of a group called the Ancient Artways Conservation LLC, and they have like a museum, and they reconstruct and rebuild artifacts that have been damaged. For example, like this piece is not an artifact, but it's got some places where the quills have broken or maybe been chewed on by a small critter. I don't know. They could go in and fix that and repair it to put in a museum or to show whatever. And this is some of the finest stuff I've ever seen. And I always wondered how they did this, and now I know because of this website. I wish I could pull the rest of my notes up. I've got links. I'll have to go back and do that after I finish. I always wondered how they did this, and it's on birch bark. And they made box. Now this one's probably done for commercial trade, but it's because it's not that old.
It's modern.
Yeah, it's modern, but it's got quill work in it, and it's got all kinds of things in it. Porcupine quills, sweetgrass. It's got some cotton thread. It's all that, but it's been done on birch bark, and they use an awl to punch holes and weave the quills around through the birch bark. This website that these people have, and another one I'm going to show in a minute, and I'll put the links in a bit. Have some of the best pictures and examples of how to do this that I've ever seen anywhere in a book or online. I mean, they explain how, you don't go all the way through the leather when you're sewing. You just go halfway through. That's
but only if you're using brain tan. If you're using commercial leather, you got to go all the way through.
Well, you can't help it, but but you try not to, and that's so the threads didn't wear off so bad. Anyway, they show how to do that.
Back up one slide.
There.
That item, yeah, that thing up in the top on my right there. That's a hairbrush.
That's a hairbrush.
Made out of a porcupine's tail.
Yeah, I forgot to say that. I'm sorry.
And they clip the barb end of the quill off and make a hairbrush, and then they fancied it up with some. They covered the leather part of the tail up with some quill work.
Yes, Tina, it is. It's all back out now. Yeah, I forgot to tell that. Thank you for reminding me. But that's a brush made out of a porcupine tail. I mean, they brushed their hair too. Now, the rest of the pieces I'm going to show are more of an earlier period, not as modern as this one. I just had to show that because it's so ornate. They have beautiful. Look, that is a storage pouch or a pocket, or they call them wall pockets. Now, this is the kind of thing you'd find inside a I don't call it a wigwam, but Eastern North American Native Americans did not live in teepees. I mean, some people think because of TV and movies that all Indians lived in teepees. Well, they didn't. but they would still tack things like this on the wall of their longhouse or their wigwam or whatever they called it, and they would put stuff in it. I mean, just like us, they need drawers and pockets. They need places to put stuff. And they made things like this out of rawhide and leather or tan leather. And, they would decorate it. And this has got a lot of this has got quite a bit of porcupine quills in it. But I just thought that was very ornate. And the woodlands Indians tended to do more floral and in some ways more artistic designs. That's not the right way to say it, but different. When you get out west, they tended to do more geometric or all geometric, and in the east they did this kind of stuff, or some of them did. But the quill work, you can see the quills, the orange quills in this area. And am I putting? Can you see that on the screen?
Which?
My cursor.
Not negative.
What about over here?
Oh, now I can.
Okay, I couldn't remember which way.
Now you're kind of over those blue quills and
yeah. Anyway, so this if you read all the details of this tells when this would have been made. This piece was unmarked, of course, but they think it was between 1820 and 1850. It's got smoked tan leather, which would be what they would have, and some cotton thread and porcupine quills. So they had cotton thread or some kind of thread. I would thought they'd been more likely to use sinew, to be honest, but
well,
maybe
they used sinew to start with. But as soon as they
got other stuff,
discovered cotton thread, sinew for this kind of work, sinew still had. Sure. They use sinew. I still use sinew, but it's got its place.
Sure. And this one's out of Canada, Manitoba or Ontario, Manitoba border area is where they found this one, or think it came from. I think they did. I think they found this.
Well, these pieces were heavily influenced, like that design. That's really heavily influenced by coats that gentlemen of note wore from France.
Oh, that's a good point.
All that kind of that prior to these kind of designs, they were using mostly animal motifs and human figurines and turtles and things like that. Thunderbirds were real popular on woodland type work, and you're right. The plains peoples and the mountain people of the west were using for mostly geometric stuff. Although the Cheyennes were masters at that kind of.
And here's another one. This has got quill work on bark again, and they've got some spruce root. Maybe I know they used. Didn't they sew with spruce root also? Make thread out of that, or to tie.
Yeah. So if you remember, Dad had a big waste paper basket that we had made in Montana out of birch bark and spruce root and ash slats for the rim, and that we sewed it with spruce roots. And I've been weird my whole life. My dad made me that way.
This piece I wanted to show because it's kind of a mix of things. And I wanted to ask your opinion here. I didn't put up what all this had in it, but obviously it's got a couple different things, some kind of hair. You can see how they've wrapped these dangles or bangles on this bag. This is another type of bag. And you can see
so that's probably horsehair.
Probably.
And it's got quill work wrapping at the tops of those hangy downs.
Well, it's red, white, and blue all the way down quill work. These are all quills. What I was trying to figure out is if these are little long beads or if this is quill work folded.
No, that's that kind of Lakota style quill work. See how See how the quill is straight up and down parallel? They're running parallel to each other.
Right.
A lot of that larger the quill work that you do to cover a larger area, just like this, you would use a zigzag stitch. And I don't know if you're going to have any examples of that or not, but it's way more common than this type.
I think I do. I know I read about it when I was doing this, but I didn't forget to put the wrong slot in. But I thought that was neat because it's different, and so I put that one in there. And that must be the last one I put in there. So I thought I had more pictures. But quill work is really pretty cool and it's neat. And Mark does it. You've been doing some recently.
Yeah, hang on, I'll get.
Yeah, do that while I shift gears here just for a minute. Well, no, I won't. I'll wait till he gets back. Oh, yeah, Michelle, they use porcupine quills for more than one thing, but this was, I don't know at what point in time in history, how far back you have to go to figure out when they started using it to decorate stuff with. And of course, they dyed it with natural dyes from things they dug up out of the ground, different. Well, I don't even know what all they call them. But, there's different things that create different colors. The red color tends to be made out of dead bugs, sometimes anyway. And then there's ochre color, and I don't know how the blue might have been a more modern. Maybe they got the blue from once they started trading for it. I don't know. Probably. I don't know. Is there anything blue? Well, now, pokeweed and pokeberries they're more of a purple. They might turn blue though if you did soak quills in it. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't.
No,
I've tried all those natural natural plant things that I could come up with. You can make browns or almost blacks out of like hickory bark or walnut hulls.
Yeah, walnut hulls are real good.
you can make of course white is natural, so you don't have to worry about white. They were pretty limited in their color spectrum originally, just because it was a pain to get the dye to take
Right
on something like a quill.
How long you have to don't show yours yet. I'm going to wait till I make you bigger on the screen so we can see it. So hold your thought. How long do you have to soak a quill to get it to actually take the color?
Well, you don't cook them, but you put them in pretty hot water with dye.
So that helps. Okay.
And sometimes I've soaked them overnight. It just depends.
Okay.
If you keep them warm too long, they tend to kind of come apart.
Hey, Dave, welcome in.
But they're
same to you. Have a good weekend.
You have a good blue available now. There's a plant called Dyer's Wold, which is a invasive plant people are worried about out here in the West, but it makes a really nice. It's got a inner bark on the root that makes a really nice blue quill. And it's been out here a long time, so that native people's had access to it during the post-contact period.
Well, let me run through Kelly stuff, and then I want you to show what you got there. I'm gonna make you bigger on the screen though, so it'll show up. This is what happened at Kelly's house last week ago Thursday. This happened, and as you can see, both their cars got smashed up here. Brad's, her husband's truck, and Kelly's car, and the end of the house, it was a big 2-car garage. That's what you see down here in this picture. And it knocked it down. Well, they've had to take it down back to maybe past this window here. Like most of this is gone. And I've got a picture of that here just a minute. This is the root ball that came, or almost not even what I'd call a root ball. It's just the broken roots came up. I guess you could call it a root ball. Normally, with a root ball, a tree falls over. It's got lots of roots and lots of dirt and stuff clogged in. This is almost just a solid chunk of wood. Not solid because it's rotten.
Yeah, all the big stabilizing roots like rotted.
Yeah, and everything else stayed in the ground. But anyway, that's what it looked like initially. That the day it happened, and then this is what it looked like on the inside, where the roof. This is all the roof coming down right here, and this is the one spot in the floor looks like didn't get anything on it. And somewhere in here, I had a box of books, which thank goodness were safe. I just bought some books at an auction. I got them out here in the car. I'd show them, but I'll have to do that another time. But the whole top of this garage, Kelly had full of Christmas decorations. She always puts up like 8 or 9 or 10 trees every year, and so a lot of those got scrapped.
I'm going to use that from now on. Belinda.
Wait a minute, who? What was that?
Tina typed in. And it probably fixed it for her automatically. Belinda.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, Belinda. And speaking of Belinda, has she ever said hi?
That's Elmer Fudd's. Oh, Belinda.
Oh, Belinda, you're so lovely.
Yes, I know it. I can't help it.
Yeah, Michelle, this happened in a storm that Kelly thinks she thinks the tree got hit by lightning. I don't know. I think it may have just broke off the wind, or she didn't think the wind was that bad at the time. And they had an outside camera on the house, and she said there was a huge flash and a boom, I guess. That's why she thought it got hit by lightning. And maybe it did. And maybe that just finished, blowing it over. But anyway, it made quite the mess and created another problem. I'll show you just in a second. When we were over there this Thursday, and this is what it looks like now. They've cut a lot of the tree up. They haven't cut all this up. Most of this trunk's too big for Brad's chainsaws. So he's waiting to get something. I think his dad may be coming down from Wisconsin with, more saws to help clean the rest of it up. And this is the reason I put this in there. This is Kelly's dog. This is one of her dogs. Her Japanese chin, Oreo. And that's the name. It wasn't the name she picked for it. She rescued that dog or took it in from somebody that didn't want it, couldn't keep it or something. Pretty good little dog. And this is a dumpster that they set down here. Now, note that I'm parked. This is my car. We're parked by the dumpster, and there's a little gap over there where there's more tree stumps and stuff. So this dog and Kelly's big dog, she has a standard poodle, which is a pretty good sized dog. And they got to playing grab butt like dogs do, or kids do, or, me and you might have done, and we might have went running around I've actually done this. Went running around the dumpster and jabbed something in her side. And this is what it did.
That's a pretty good cut.
It tore this whole flap of skin was just laying off in the wind. That's what Kelly saw first, was that white inner meat, where you pull the skin off the muscle.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally stripped it off.
So that fascia was just flapping out there in the wind.
Yeah.
My horses do this kind of crap on T-posts.
Oh yeah, man.
My game warden's horse, I had a couple of his horses out here for a while. He had a bull moose scared him on the river, and he reared up and he came right down on a dang T-post.
Oh,
the top of the T-post, and it just ripped him wide and deep and continuous. And I got the vet to come out and do a house call, and he and I sewed it back on there, and he told me, he's like, now that piece of hide's going to die, and you're going to have to keep doctoring it, scrubbing it and keeping the proud flesh that horses get scrubbed back. And it stayed on there where we stitched it up. It stayed on there for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, and
then came off.
And then it just, like he said, it died, and it just came. It was like a big old gross scab, and I scrubbed that and got it to where it was bleeding every day, which is kind of what you do with proud flesh, and
well, Kelly got pretty
that
excited.
horse healed up, and you could barely see that he had this big old. I mean, it was like that, but on a horse.
Yeah, wow. Was that, did the horse, I mean, did they have trouble holding still to work
He
on
didn't.
that?
He couldn't have cared less. It didn't.
Well, that's what I was going to say about Eva.
That's what I was going to say. You should have just stitched her up.
Well, I told Kelly that. I offered to do that, but she wasn't. She didn't think I was.
No, she needs to get put under, and yeah.
So we took her to the vet. I took her to the vet. We got her in the car. Kelly went right. Kelly did real well. She had initial panic, kind of. She saw it immediately. She saw it before I did. The dog ran around that dumpster and just made a yip, and then was silent. And Kelly said, "Oh, no, 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 no." And she saw it instantly. She went running over there and pushed the skin back up, was holding it. And she said, "I got to go in and get a," I said, "I may have a bandage in my car." She said, "No, I got it. She went running in the house, came back out with a big gauze pad, put that on there. And then she had this, that kind of athletic tape stuff that you can wrap with. It sticks to itself.
Yeah.
We wrapped it up, and she put her in the back seat of my car, and I took her over to the vet. Just so happens that there's a vet's office within a half mile or less, probably, of her house. And we got her over there, and they took care of her. They took her right in and took her back, and Kelly went back and got her that evening. We dropped her off about.
My vet is 82 miles door to door.
Do what?
My vet lives 82 miles away, door to door.
Well, this one was way less.
I know that.
In a straight line, she probably lives. This vet's probably less than a quarter mile away from her house. Just so happened, and they had used them before. In fact, that's where she's standing. She's standing in the parking area there in front of the vet's office when they went back and got her. And as you can see, she's just standing there stock still. I'm not around this dog all the time. Now, I like this dog, and she likes me, and I'll always play with her and pet her and stuff, and she always comes running up to say hi and everything. We're friendly. But I expected her to be a little bit more upset with this wound, and she wasn't. Just like you said, she stood there like it wasn't nothing. She let me hold her, and I kept her steady until Kelly got back with the bandage, and then we got a collar on her and got her in the car and took her away. And she was just calm as she could be the whole time. They
don't. I mean, there's certain parts of their body that just don't seem like. Well, you've cut yourself where like you didn't even know you were cut till somebody said, "Hey, you're bleeding."
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean it. Yeah. I don't know. There are parts on a dog where if you mess with it, you're going to get bit.
Yeah, well, that's what I kind of expected.
Like throwing quills out of a mouth. Somebody's gonna get some blood out of that.
Get bit. Well, she pulled away just a little bit when Kelly started wrapping it up, but Kelly talked to her, and she just stood still and let us do it. And Rhonda's saying, "I have no idea what this cost. I didn't even ask, and I don't want to know." I felt really bad for them, though. They've gone through all this destruction of their house, and then this dog
That's a pretty good wound.
Yeah, it's a big wound. I hope she recovers from it okay. I mean, she's
Oh,
good
she'll
dog.
be fine.
I don't know how old she is. No, she's not very old. She's got to be less than 5, I think. But she's made. I wouldn't mind having a standard poodle. I think they'd make a pretty good dog. I think. Yeah, you got to realize somebody said that you're a long way. It's a long way to the vet, but you got to realize Mark lives a long way from anywhere. And
But then Tina had to took Danny to Cornell.
yeah, how far was that?
100 miles, over 100 miles.
Wow. Yeah, and
they did 12 trips.
Yeah, I'm sure Tina. I'm sure she will be fine. I don't know how much she'll have to go. Like Mark is saying, that I expect some of that to die off and have to grow back. So I'm not sure how much. But Kelly will. I guarantee you, she'll nurse her back to health. And if she were to pass away, Kelly will make some kind of monument out of her. I promise you that too. Because that girl is my girl all over, and she don't have a problem at all skinning something.
Yeah, but it's different when it's your dog.
Yeah, I know. So now I'm at the end, and that's the end of the porcupine. So now I'm going to shut this down. And Mark, I still have that on my. What is going on here today? There it went. I don't see that. So all right. I'm going to see if I can't make you more bigger.
Oh no,
that didn't do it. That ain't it. Nope, wrong one.
What do I got to do?
Well, hang on a minute. I got to say this because it takes my mic off too. I'm gonna make you bigger, and you just show your quill work. And I have to.
Well, I've been working on a few pieces here lately, and nothing fancy. I'm not a master quiller. I'm trying to become one, but it'll be a while. So that's that kind of Thunderbird design that I was talking about earlier. And then they used a lot of turtles like this. And did various and sundry, probably French inspired designs, kind of like that. But you can tell by the quality of my work, I'm not keeping up with the old ones. So you can come back in, Tim. That's all I got. He can't hear me. Come on, Tim. He turned me off and went for coffee, and he wants me to run. I didn't have much to talk about.
I'm back. Oh, I stepped over here a minute.
I knew you did. Somewhere. To the bucket or whatever.
Whatever. Anyway. I didn't even get to see your quill work because I had to shut mine off.
Well, I made you that medicine bag. You've seen that one.
I think you showed me a picture of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it there. But I'm not. So this internal, the circle.
Yeah.
That's just a one. That's a one thread. You don't flatten a quill. You just lay it down and you stitch it down. You wrap around it and pull the stitch tight, and it twists that quill because the quills are round, hollow. They're hollow, sort of hollow. They got kind of a pith in the middle of them. But when you pull that stitch down tight, it twists that quill and wraps it. Makes a cool design, and that is that kind of. you use one needle and one thread. And then this kind of quilling, the orange, that's a, let's see if I can get it.
You can see it right there.
It's a zigzag. It's kind of like that parallel quilling, but it's called zigzag. And you're folding that quill back and forth and it traveling down the piece.
Right.
Maybe that one wing there will show it. I was happy with one of them and not the other one. Yeah, so it's black dyed quills and then a white natural quill. And then I did that. So that technique uses 2 needles and 2 threads, one on each side. So you're basically just folding that quill. You do a back stitch and you fold and you put the quill under it and you fold it over. You do a back stitch on the other side and you're just folding that quill back and forth and back and forth in a zigzag pattern.
Yeah, and each stitch
and then the little bumpy looking little white quill along the edge is a boundary. That's that single quill technique where you don't flatten the quill. So the ones on the zigzag are flattened.
Right.
So you clip the barb off, and then you take something like a piece of bone or antler and you flatten that. The quill's been soaking in water, which softens it. And then you just kind of hold one end of it, the cuticle end of it, and you push down the quill and it flattens that quill. Easier said than done. If you get them too wet, they don't stay flat. Are you on the Wandering Bull?
Huh?
No, you're not on the Wandering Bull.
No, this is the site that's attached to that where that some of those pictures I showed that were that Nancy, I can't remember her last name, was involved.
You need to send me that. There's a gal named Dewana Tucker that does the most gorgeous quill work I've ever seen.
I think I've heard of her. This website, and Michelle, if you're still in there, pay attention. You got a Boy Scout coming. You might want to do something like this.
This is kind of a cool project. This relaxes me for some reason. I don't know why. It drives my wife crazy. She's like, no, I don't like doing quill work.
No, Tina,
it's a little tedious.
Tina was asking a question. It's not. She said, so that's not cut into beads. It's left.
No, you use the entire quill.
Yeah.
And like the day is really good if you pull a quill out to use and it's real long, because then you get to do a bunch of quill work before you have to add another quill in, which is a whole. There's a lot of mistakes in my work, and it's all to do with where one quill meets the next quill.
Well, this website, and I'm going to see if I can't show you more about it. And Mark, it also lists all the different things you can use for dye, natural dyes that some of, if not all, would have been available at that time before they started getting other things. Because a lot of people, there's another quill worker that has got some video. There's some great videos online now of people doing this kind of work. But he said, I use RIT dyes. He said, but now that's not, if you're going to get real serious about authenticity, he said, that's not authentic. And so,
yeah, so if you're repairing old work, you got to use the real deal. But you know, people don't realize they had something similar to RIT. As soon as Europeans got over here, things were available to natives that hadn't been, dyes being one of them. Because RIT dyes have been around a long, long, long time. And
well, they obviously knew how to dye.
But they dyed, you know, the old colors are hard to reproduce and they're hard to get the right plant and they're harder to dye with that plant than it is a RIT dye. They're not as vibrant, you know. Like
Right.
if you get a red, it's not as good a red. If
It's
you
not
think
bright.
about it, if you're really wanting it to be really red, you're going to have a hard time getting that to happen. And sometimes you had to mix plants.
Michelle, I can send you some links. If you can get a lot of this stuff now on Amazon, but there's also more traditional shops. One is called Crazy Crow. Mark's probably been buying from Crazy Crow since he was about a wee pup, because that was a place you could buy stuff.
So I just did a $96 order from Crazy Crow day before yesterday.
There you
I
go.
bought a bunch of quills, and I bought, which I can get here local, but it's easier for me to, if I just want to do like bulk quill work, it's easier for me to buy them already dyed. Because you can buy oranges and blacks and reds and greens and all colors from Crazy Crow, or from the Wandering Bull, which is another site. Yeah, that's up actually. I think he's up in Tina's country.
And I've looked at his page too.
He's got some great videos on how to.
And you know what? He might have been the guy that was actually somebody from there may have been the one that I saw yesterday talking about doing dyes and stuff. He might have been.
He's got several tutorials on how to, and he shows, you know, collecting quills, processing quills, dyeing quills, etc., and then how to use them and how to do the different stitches. And
I don't even know what that bottom one is unless it's part of the whole. Maybe it couldn't. That may be a two-part. That's a long link, Michelle. That may be. You might have to add this tail down here at the bottom to that also. That came out. It looks like it sent it out. I didn't do that. It came out in two pieces. If I can find, but that's Wandering Bull that he's talking about. So anyway, let me show you some things on this. They're talking about dyes. They're telling you what to do with dyes here. They've got that. They've got a whole introduction here on techniques and how the stuff Mark was talking about. They've got that here. And then down here, they've got, for example, here's some examples of some really intricate work. That's not the one I wanted though.
Yeah, beautiful work.
Yeah, that is amazing. There's a whole section here on tools and how to use them. Don't know. There's some stuff that she uses to do her quill work. That's some nice little tools. But there's they show. Here we go. Here's the tutorials I was talking about, or the pictures. They're not tutorials, but they show you how to wrap the thread.
I've had this and I couldn't find it. So I'm glad you sent it out, because I've had this. I printed this whole section out once upon a time, but I can't find them now. Well,
this lady that contributed this, Nancy Funicello, she's like an expert, but I was trying to think of the right word. But she's an artisan, and she's
a master quiller.
Yeah, But each one of these slides comes with, she explains it and she shows it. And this is one of the best examples of how to do stuff like this that I've ever seen. And over here is, you can see kind of what Mark was talking about, laying them down in the zigzag stitch or the zigzag pattern. And she's got, there's a section for, here's parallel or band doing it. She shows you how to lay it out. And she's marking the leather and then showing how the needles go through, and the ties, how you make the ties. And if you read the instructions, this would make more sense than me talking about it. But there you can see how she's laying down a thread. She's got one quill started right there, and there's videos that show this too. And then she folds that quill over and puts it over here, and then there's another loop or another stitch that holds that end down. You fold it and come back, and you go back and forth, and you fill in the lines. And I'm not a quiller, so if I say it wrong, Mark, you correct me.
No, that's pretty good explanation.
Here's a single line quill. I mean, she shows you how to do it up here. Here's an example, kind of like you did on your border, I think.
Yeah, that's the exact stitch right there.
And this is how.
Yeah, see how it's twisting the quill.
Yeah, that was what was throwing me off, was how it looked twisted before.
So
Makes
you,
it look
so,
like
you, so you go. You got to be real particular with your needle and thread positioning. So you go underneath the quill. So in this particular stitch, you go underneath the quill. Your thread's coming out on one side of the quill. You go under the quill and go forward about an eighth or a 16th of an inch, depending on how thick your quill is. You need to sort quills to begin with so that they're similar sizes, or it looks goofy. But anyway, and they come in all sizes and lengths, but you take your stitch and you come back. You got one, the other end, the other running end of the thread. You wrap it one time around that quill and you pull that stitch down tight, and it just rolls that quill over and it sticks it back out towards yourself. And if it doesn't come back toward you, like you can see that red quill in that next to the bottom picture, it's pointing right straight at you. That if it goes the other way, your stitch is backwards. So you can always tell when you cinch it down tight, if it wants to roll the other way, then you need to back out and try again. But quilling is best on only brain tan leathers.
Is that because of the flexibility?
It's because the fibers weren't destroyed during the tanning process. Gotcha. Like, commercially tan leathers, if you try to just run your needle through a portion of the leather, it's going to pull out. When you pull it down tight, it just pops out. On brain tan buckskin, those fibers are intact, and when you run and it's soft and it just runs through there like butter, and you pull the stitch tight, it's grabbing all those fibers that are still connected to each other. Hydology, I call that hydology.
Well, that's a good. We'll keep the hydology. Ology. I'm going to write that down. Remember that. It's going to go in the book. Something else about so just to back up for a minute, what Mark is talking about, brain tan leather is literally that. That's a native, and that was how I'm sure everybody knew how to do this originally, but Native Americans brain tan.
All human beings use brain tan leather
until
worldwide.
Do what?
Worldwide, they use
until they invented other things to use. But brains, literally,
way toxic stuff.
You turn the brains of an animal into like a paste, and you rub it on the skin and roll it up and leave it for a few days or whatever, and it will tan the leather. And then you break it down and make it softer, and you smoke it on top of your lodge or some fashion, and it makes the most supple, beautiful leather that I have ever seen. It's just amazing. And I had a big old piece.
So someday we'll do a show on that.
Yeah, maybe we will.
Because it's way more complicated than you just made it sound.
Oh, I know. I'm just trying to go over it briefly, but
although it doesn't have to be. You can literally skin a deer in the morning.
Go ahead.
If you're a hard enough worker, you could skin a deer in the morning and have done leather in the evening.
Well, that'd be
if
that'd
you're
be-
a hard enough worker. I mean, because that's the main ingredient to brain tan is elbow grease.
Yeah, I learned that just messing with it. Well, that little I've done. The this one more thing on the beat on the quill work. This is all quills here, and this is called plaiting. So it's a little different process. I don't know if you plait rawhide.
Well,
not
it's
but-
kind of like how you would make a basket. It's kind of a basket weave.
So it's sort of laid. It's woven to a degree. It's one over another, and
Yeah, and it's you're using alternating colors and
well, she again shows how to lay it out, draw out your pattern, and then shows you how to work it and work your quills. You can see how she's got them laid out there and stitched, and then folded over and stitched, and you just keep going like that until you end up with something that looks like this. You push this up and you try to keep it tight. Here's a nice looking piece. Just an example. This is nicely plaited. That's a nice little handle. But so this is a pretty good. I thought this was a really good website for this kind of stuff. And but there's all kinds of. Let me see if this pops up. I'm not going to show this. That's all my crap for Instagram, or not Instagram, YouTube.
on my wife's Shauna Elk.
I had I don't know if I got it before. Here's another quill stitching. Oh, it's the same one. That might be the old guy.
I knew she was making videos when I wasn't looking.
Here's all kinds of things about this from this lady. And that's her name, Shauna Elk. Quill work tutorial, and you can see she's going through here and showing how to do a lot of different stitches. So there's a lot of really good stuff out there. And so if anybody's interested, like Michelle may be interested, she may not be, but who knows, Gabe might be. There's some good guides out there. When I was growing up, Mark was growing up, we had, the Ben Hunt book, and that was about all we had. And then, of course, as we grew up, Mark grew up learning this because he was around people who did it. That's like napping flint. I mean, you literally learn to nap flint at the knee of I guess,
Waldorf.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have that opportunity, so I have to admit that wasn't one of the things I learned growing up.
Well, you'd have had to be. You were at friendship.
Well, yeah, but later, but not you. You started going at a much younger age.
Well, that's true.
And
That's a good point, Tina.
I don't know, Tina, but she was doing it, so I'm not going to knock it. She can do it a lot better than I can do it. That's for sure. There, my clock. So anyway, that's quill work is it's just not something you see a lot of. If you see anything like it, because beadwork, while it's not simple and easy necessarily, much more so than quills. And you can buy the colors, and you can match things up. You don't have to go through the dyeing and all that. Of course, you can buy pre-dyed quills now too, but I don't know what a bag of quills cost. I started to look that up, but I didn't. But you can buy
$5.95 an ounce.
$5.95 an ounce. Is that Crazy Crow's price?
Yeah, and an ounce is a pretty good bunch of quills because they're hollow and don't
weigh anything.
Yeah,
and just again, I think
an ounce is like a brown paper, like a lunch bag. And you open up the top of the lunch bag and then reach your hand down in there and grab you a big handful.
You come out with sticking in your fingers. Damn, that made me forget what I was going to say. Oh, darn.
That's something to do with hunting.
It might have been. I think it had to do with quills, but now I don't remember what it was.
You didn't know what the price of quills was.
Well, no, I didn't know that. And
Well, and you were talking about beads versus quills. Quilling
well,
is
yeah,
solely a North American artwork.
say that. What was that?
Quill work is solely a North American artwork.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it anywhere else.
It's not. It's not from anywhere. You know, the porcupines in other parts of the world are not. You can't take an African porcupine quill and do what you do with North American porcupine quills. They're hard. They're like a pencil, you know.
Oh, I know what I was going to say.
And the beads, those seed beads that are used in beadwork, were traded all over Africa and all over China and all, you know, everywhere on the globe. And so that art form is much more widespread, although North America has its own kind of methods. But
yeah, I know what I was going to say. You talk about how many quills are in a bag an ounce. I mean, you got to remember too that a quill is just a specialized hair. Now it's heavier than a hair, obviously, but still very light and hollow. And you know, there's just not that much weight, so you can get a lot of them in an ounce. And
yeah, a lot.
so you know they go a long way. But I didn't know how much they were. So $5.95 an ounce.
Well, I just said I spent $93 with Crazy Crow 2 days ago. So
what all did you get? I mean, were you just buying quills?
Quills, horsehair. What else did I get?
That's something a lot of people.
A bunch of seed beads. I needed some old.
Cool.
Some
That's
old colors
that
they suck me in. I get on their website and they're like, "Oh, we got a bunch of old colors now, like the original old style seed beads." And
right.
I can never pass them up when I'm like, "Oh, I don't have that color."
I think I saw something on their website a few months ago where they just gotten in some new old colors. I don't remember what they were.
Mustard yellows and things.
Mustard yellow's a good one.
Lots of
I've still got some old greasy yellow mustard beads.
Yeah,
or
me too.
Greasy beads or whatever.
I have some white hearts that are greasy yellows that are pretty cool.
Hey, that thing's on time today. I got it set right. I've been tweaking it a little at a time.
Busted watch is right twice a day, buddy.
Well, that's true. But it was a minute or so off for a long time, slow usually. Now I think I've got the speed adjusted. I think I've got it right.
Well, I just built my ponies a new set of headgear, so I got to go try it out at some point here today. I've got
cool.
New hanger for my bosal.
So that's something you just made?
Yeah, I just made it yesterday afternoon.
I know what I was going to say now. A lot of people probably don't know this. Maybe they do, but you know, women often sell their hair for various reasons to make. I know Jennifer and Kelly both, I think, have let their hair grow out and cut it off and then donated it for wigs for cancer victims and that sort of thing. But they do that with horsehair too. People clip their manes or their tails and then sell it to places like Crazy Crow.
We had a big problem going on in Wyoming where people were just stopping and
clipping horses.
Like if you had a pasture full of horses, they were stopping and taking tails, not the whole tail, just the hair. But like you'd have a horse maybe it was your granddaughter's show horse, and you go out in pasture and the tail's bobbed off.
Oh no!
Because somebody was stealing it, and like a new modern form of rustling. But they use horsehair for a lot of stuff besides just Native Americans. You know, they're using horsehair for macates, for horse gear, and for cinches, and so it's got some value. And like I said, people were just like stopping, like, hey, there's some horses, and go over there. And if they were tame horses, they weren't wild horses. They just take the tail.
That's pretty low down. Cut a man's horse's tail off. Or
my good buddy had a horse that he got barbed wire in the end of his tail, about I don't know, 10 or 12 inch piece of barbed wire. And it had been in there so long, he hadn't paid any attention. It had knotted itself up, and he decided one day while we were at camp that, like, hey, won't you see if you can get that worked out of there? And I just took my belt knife out, and just cut the end of his tail off. And I'm like, there. He was so mad at me.
I bet he was.
I'm like, I'm not sitting there all day while you don't do nothing.
Do they use the mane hair?
Yeah, both kinds.
I thought it should be. I wasn't sure. I can only imagine. I've seen show horses and rodeo. You see them in the rodeos, different horses these days, and they braid their mane or braid their tails. I mean, they do different things depending on how they're using the horse. And I can just imagine how mad how mad I would be if I had let my horse's mane grow out all luxuriously and I was braiding it for a show or something, and somebody came out one day and somebody giving it a crew cut. I would be pissed.
Roach that mane up, make it look like a mule.
Yeah. I would be really upset about that.
Yeah, I think the maddest thing on the planet would be like a 25-year-old rodeo queen that's walked out and her Barbie doll horse had been freshly shorn.
I wouldn't want to be standing there. After the tears, there's going to be anger.
No, it just come out. I've never seen a conniption, but I'd heard about them.
You'd probably see one then. I promise you. That's one of the funniest Bill Cosby skits I ever heard in my life, was about the conniption fit. I mean, that was just part of it. That's the one where he was feeding.
It was where he fed his kids chocolate cake for breakfast.
That is great. If he took chocolate cake. And his mom came down the stairs.
And fire shoot out of her eyes and hit me in the gut. Oh my! Anyway,
all right, guys, it's afternoon. It's time to shut this down. You guys, thank you for hanging around with us, and I apologize for the technical errors first off, and any boring parts. But I thought it was
boring
parts. I thought it was interesting anyway, and if somebody wants to, I guess the thing, and nobody here probably they don't, but I think the thing I found to be really cool was just the good quality of video stuff and training stuff that's out there for free. I mean, I'm sure you can pay for a lot of really good stuff, but there's a lot of good stuff that's free. And I mean, I didn't have benefit to that. We didn't have benefit to that. Like I said, the first book I ever saw was probably a Ben Hunt book, a Boy Scout book that showed anything about beading or braiding or any of that stuff. And now we can go online. I mean, in that respect, what a glorious day for knowledge we live in. And then it goes to hell in a handbasket, but it starts out good. Well, Tina, I appreciate that. I'm glad you do. I would like to think I could entertain a little bit, but also people could learn. There you go.
That's my original copy.
A book just like that. That's well loved. Look at the back. Ben Hunt wrote, but
the pages are coming out of it.
Ben Hunt, I don't know where he started exactly, but if you in early scouting, a lot of handbooks or a lot of things pointed towards that. And he had in those books would be all kinds of projects for Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts and Webelos or whatever. So I don't know if he just did it because of scouting, but that I know that you see a lot of his stuff out there, and they've been around. I mean, he's long gone. I mean, these things came out.
Well, he learned how to do all this stuff from native peoples
Yeah, that's what I
at
thought.
Buffalo Bill Cody Wild West shows.
So that's how old he was.
That's how he started.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he's way long gone.
Jason, I'm glad you came by and said that because you taught us something today too. You taught us about nutria, and then also signs on
The signs that here's the recipe.
Funny you should say that because I used to work with a guy that worked at the New Orleans Zoo when he was younger before he got his airplane license stuff. That's where I worked with him. And he used to talk about working in the zoo all the time. I don't remember him mentioning the recipe part. Gabriel loves Boy Scouts unless it involves hard manual labor. Well, like backpacking. I'm sorry that. I'd hate that he doesn't like that part. That's some of the best part. But my kids weren't that crazy. My girls always liked to camp, but they didn't like it when Dad put a backpack on them and made them walk to the campground. They didn't care much about that.
Well, my one and only trip with the Boy Scouts, I joined that troop there out of Jonesboro, and I don't remember what it was, but we went to Chickamauga Battlefield, and we went on a hike a day, just like it was going to be like a morning hike. We were going to walk maybe 10 or 12 miles, and our scout master took the wrong fork, and we walked 27 miles that day.
Oh, 27.
Talk about a bunch of disgruntled grubs.
I think that happened to me one time. We were going to hike this trail. It's actually not very far from where I live now, up here at the where the Cumberland Gap is, where Daniel Boone went through and took led the settlers. So, but there's a trail up there that used to be called the Mishawaka Trail, and I'm not sure where that name came from, but now they just call it the Cumberland Gap Trail or something. But we were going to hike up to the top of the mountain, which obviously was going to be uphill. And there was an old settlement up there at one time that they've restored and built the cabins back in, and nobody lived up there at the time. And we were just going to hike up there. Well, it was only supposed to be a few miles, and back then we didn't have any really good gear. Our backpacks were all surplus Army stuff, and they pretty much sucked to carry. And nobody mentioned the fact that there was no water on that trail. So that was a miserable trip. That one could have turned anybody against backpacking. Honestly, we had a couple guys that fell out, and we had to go get water and bring back to them because they got so dehydrated. My dad was walking the trail, kind of sweeping the trail, as we say, picking up any strays, making sure nobody fell out and got, separated. And he turned around. He said he kept thinking he kept feeling like somebody else was there, and he didn't think he'd missed anybody. And he turned around and looked, and there's a big old bobcat walking along behind him, just following the trail. So that was a pretty cool place. So I've got a really cool badge. Oh, right here it is. In fact, no, that's not it. That's a muzzleloading badge. Anyway, so he's camping. Wait a minute now. We got. Jason said, "I'm glad y'all enjoyed the joke." A joke? So you're telling me that's not? Now, see, I'm disappointed, Jason. I thought it was true. I thought you guys.
I enjoyed it. I will enjoy it both ways.
No, I did. I'm kidding. I liked that. I thought it was really funny, to be honest. So, Michelle, you got my phone is typing on it. Oh, okay.
And I know enough of your people, Jason, that I know it's not that far from being true.
Well, you know the old. I'm not. If this is disparaging to you in any way, I apologize. But you know the old joke used to be the raccoons. Mama was teaching her raccoon kids how to eat, and she'd shown them in the creek, and they're washing their hands, you know, like raccoons do, and eating uh, crawdads. And she was teaching them to be aware of, you know, mountain lion, how to hide and be safe. And suddenly, you know, there was a shadow looming over. She said, "Oh my God, Mama, what's that?" And he said, "Oh, run, child, run. That's a Cajun, and they eat everything." So I don't know. I always heard that was true. I don't know if it is true or not, but I'm like Mark. The few things I know about, there's a lot of stuff that goes to the table. But that's not always a bad thing.
Well, the funniest conversation I have ever personally been witness to, didn't know the gentleman, a Cajun truck driver at a Subway in Wamsutter, Wyoming. The gal that was working behind the counter was some kind of a culinary student, and she was doing an internship at a Subway.
Of all places.
And she was from China, and she could barely speak English, and he only spoke Cajun. And he was just trying to order a sandwich, and somehow I got sucked into being the go-between, and I'm like, "Oh, this is not going to end well. You're not going to get what you want at all, dude."
Oh, a hillbilly for an
We had more fun. All three of us were laughing. And my boss was with us, and he's just over in the corner. He's an Italian guy from Philadelphia originally, and he's just shaking his head, and I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude? You're no better than the rest of us."
I'm going to tell you that some of the best eating I've ever had was crawdads that came right out of that part of the country. So I'm actually a big fan of Cajun food. I like it. What I've had anyway.
Me too.
Also, there used to be a really good restaurant. There was a restaurant in Knoxville that specialized in, I don't know, Creole cooking maybe, and Cajun cooking and New Orleans style foods. And Brenda and I went there several times, and I really liked it. I mean, then the place was busy, but it didn't last very long. It was in a bad spot. Location. Every restaurant that opened there had good food and never did survive. But that place had some really good dishes that were blackened this and hot that, and, you know, gumbo and I mean, it was just good eats. That I don't know if the red beans and rice recipe that I used to eat was really from Louisiana, but if it was, man, it was fine. It was there used to be a restaurant in Middle Tennessee called Poor Folks, and it was owned by a bunch of country music artists that I can't remember all their names now, but like was the guy that was on Smokey and the Bandit, that guy. The not Burt Reynolds.
Jerry,
yeah, him.
Reed. Jerry Reed.
He was. I think he might have been one of the owners too. But anyway, they had the best red beans and rice I think I've ever had. I don't know whose recipe it was, but oh my goodness, it was good. Anyway,
I'm gonna go burn some.
All right, you go play with your horses. And hey, I sent you something. Do you look at your email much?
Every now and again.
Well, I sent you something.
I don't have to anymore, so
I know you don't have to. It's the only way I got to send you. I sent you just some notes on a book.
Oh, good.
You and I need to write, and I thought I sent it to you once before, but I may not have. But I resent it a couple of days ago. It's not a full story. It's just kind of like a breakdown of some ideas.
Yeah.
And if they all suck, tell me that. But tell me what you think. So we work on that because I want to write that book. I'm ready to go.
Good.
Anyway, I used to just wait a minute. Jason said I used to joke about roadkill, but stop. Hey, Jason, that's not funny as you think. Tennessee passed a law a few years ago.
We did too. just like 4 or 5 years ago, we made it legal.
You
Not
can pick up
not
roadkill deer.
not to intentionally do it, but if it happens, you can take it home.
Oh yeah, right. Not to intentionally do it, but you can pick it. I mean, obviously you don't want to pick up something that's rotten, but if you see a deer or something hit here in the state and get hit by a car and abandoned, I mean, most people wouldn't.
You
aren't gonna
just
mess
you
with it.
just can go over there and get it.
You can take it home legally and eat that thing. I mean, and they used to do that. You know, in Jonesboro, the jail used to be downtown.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, that somebody would hit a deer out in the country, the sheriff's department or whatever in Washington County, they would bring those in and butcher them, and they actually cooked them up and fed them to the prisoners once upon a time. So
there you go.
Anyway, Jason, thanks, buddy. We'll see you. Bring another joke next time. You've been a great. You brought some really good laughs in today. That was great. I appreciate it. Mark, thanks for the expertise on the talking about beadwork or not beadwork, but quill work. And everybody have a great weekend. Have a great what's left of the vernal equinox. Actually, I think it ends at noon, so we're past it now. It's like noon to noon, but it's still a good day to celebrate spring. So around here, spring is definitely sprung. So get out your lawnmowers and plant your. I'm sure our garden, we should be planting a garden right now, big time. Hey, I've been learning about your potato idea. Speaking of
good.
We're working on, Brenda and I have been working on that. We're going to figure out how to do that. That's a neat idea.
Yeah, and it keeps the varmints at bay.
Yeah, well, yeah, and the multi-level where you have like shallow potatoes and deep potatoes, I never heard of that.
Yeah.
But it's a thing. So anyway, all right, buddy, you take care.
What's the varieties on that, buddy?
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
What?
I said, be careful with the varieties on that double stack deal.
Yeah.
Potatoes. Certain kinds work good on the bottom and certain on the top. So
I'll try to read up on it some more. But
all right.
Sound like such a great idea. I thought, wow, that's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. See you, bro.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Well, guys, as the car guys used to say, you've wasted another wonderful 2 hours hanging around with us, but we both really appreciate it. I do especially. And we, despite our technical difficulties and our backwoods ways, we're not as dumb as some people might think we are. But sometimes it don't show. Sometimes we just want to have fun. So there you go. Everybody have a great weekend. I hope the weather's decent. I'm not ready for hot weather yet, to be honest. I love spring, but I don't like summer, and it's around here. It's coming quick because it's already been in, top at around 80 and in the 80s, which is too hot for me. But anyway, hopefully you're not snowed in, and I guess most of the snow is starting to leave everybody. Hopefully we won't have any late winter, no Easter blizzards, but I guess that's coming up too. Well, it's a couple weeks yet before Easter. So, hey, John. Well, I understand that. I know how that works. I appreciate you listening, though. Thanks for coming by. You're going to have to come tell me someday when you're going to come over here and visit your brother in Tennessee and not up in Jersey. And when you do, if we don't get together and have coffee or eat dinner or do something, I'm going to be really upset because I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully that day comes, which goes for anybody. If you're ever in this part of the country, by all means, let me know, and we'll do something. We'll go have a cup of coffee, or we'll go have a burger. We'll do something. I know we've talked about getting together, and I still would love to do that. I've never been to an internet get together. I want to. I thought about trying to go to some Pete McDivitt's got one going on here coming up in May. I think I started to go to that, and we decided we'd rather do one that's in Florida, maybe sometime at Disney. And but wouldn't mind doing one here. And every once in a while, I know folks come down here to visit Smoky Mountains and Dollywood and that sort of thing. I just saw a video the other day. I didn't realize Dollywood was the grand opening, and I don't know her personally, but there's a lady who goes by Super Enthused, I think's her name, on YouTube, and she does really good videos and travel videos and stuff. And she was down here at Dollywood, so Dollywood has improved so much since I was a kid. So I definitely recommend that. Chris is doing one in Florida, and I thought he would, Tina, and I'd like to make that one. I've been thinking that isn't that usually around the Night of Hope, because I would love to go to that, to be honest. And I don't know if I ever will, but I would at least like to come down for Chris's get together. I'm gonna talk to him about when that is. Yeah, I've watched her videos over time occasionally, and they are okay. It is the same weekend. I thought it was. But she does a really good job with her videos, and I'd like to be able to do live streams as well as somebody like her. And of course, I'll never get to Josh Nelson's level, but who knows? I need to get out and try to do more on the road stuff and live videos from other places. Which reminds me, I think Brandon and I missed the country swap meet today. I think there was one over to other. I'll have to check on that. Never mind. I'll have to explain that later. But we were going to do we thought about doing getting her to set up a booth at some of her sewing goods, or what do you call when you sew? What do you call those goods? There's a name for that. It'll come to me after I hang up. Anyway, guys, have a good weekend, and I'm going to really stop the show this time. I'm not going to keep talking. Everybody be safe and have be well, and we'll see y'all again next week, hopefully, if nothing don't happen. Bye-bye. And I'll sit here and wave like this until it cuts me off, which